This is a conservative czar, May 24th, 2023. This is a continuation of the debt ceiling. It's not part 3. I've done 2 parts. It's really part 2 correction. And it's not really a correction. It's a further explanation. As you do these videos, you research things, you put things in, trying to put things in perspective. And I think I missed the mark on my last debt ceiling explanation. The mark, I laid it off as, oh, this is a problem, and if we, small problem, and we can deal with it. Cutting expenditures. I was wrong. This is way more serious than I ever thought. I want to take you through an average month. The month of June was around $650 billion in expenditures. Of that $600 million in expenditures, at least $150 billion was borrowed money. In other words, the taxes that came in at $500 billion, the expenditures were $650 billion. The United States government had to borrow $150 billion. At least 2020. The numbers I ran are at 30%. But let's back it off. 20% of all expenditures of the federal government have to be borrowed on a daily basis to meet the budget. That's a huge problem. In addition to that, the interest on the debt is now around 10% of the budget. So when the debt ceiling hits, this is an unbelievably huge problem. Let's say we did it. We cut it. Now, the truth of the matter is, if they don't raise the debt ceiling over time, let's say we continue it to June 30th. Let's just say it. We shut the government down. We're not going to do it. What is the consequences? The consequences, the reason why we're talking about default is because the easiest expenditure to stop on a monthly basis is payment of the interest. It's not the only thing. In fact, that won't do it. If the deficit is not extended by June 30th, the United States government would have to cut the budget, cut the actual budget by 30 or 40%. It is catastrophic. Much more catastrophic than I thought. But there's 2 points to this. One is the debt ceiling problem, which is a really big problem, and the fundamental problem that we're borrowing between 20 and 30% every single month to pay for the budget. And the secondary problem is the interest on the debt as a percentage of the monthly expenditures is 10%. And it's going up. This is an untenable situation. The Republican proposal doesn't even address any of this. It is peanuts compared to the huge problem that we're facing. And it finally hits home. I admit I hadn't really honed in on it except for the last few days. And it is a huge problem. When you borrow 30% of your expenditures on every single month, the country is going to disintegrate and collapse. And that's what look at what it looks like now. With the debt ceiling crisis, we're looking at a disaster. A disaster. Biden is holding up a debt deal on such a small percentage of the problem. He's holding it up. But what are we going to do? What is the Republicans? I know what I want them to do. I want them to be tough. Tough. And force this issue at least a little bit. But at its fundamental point, if the United States, because of the way we're running things, borrowing 30% of our expenditures on a monthly basis, because we're doing that, this debt crisis is going to get worse and worse and worse as the interest payments increase and increase and increase. This is untenable even in the halfway short run. So what are the Republicans to do? I say they have to hang tough. They have to hang tough and create and demand spending cuts, and they're going to be so small compared to the problem. It means nothing. But it's a step, and we're understanding this deficit problem more and more. You can't continue a government when you're borrowing 30% of what you're spending every month. Can't be done. This is the Conservative Czar. See you next time.